Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Allie. Today I'm going to be filming a long overdue Q&A. I feel like this is going to be quite a lengthy video. I have a ton of questions that I've been wanting to answer for a very long time, so feel free to pause this video at any time. Go get yourself a snack, a tea, a coffee, a cocoa, whatever it might be. Use this more as like a podcast type video. Feel free to just listen to it in the background, just whatever you would like to do. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I do have another video coming out very soon where I test out a bunch of different wash out hair colors, and I am so excited for that video. It will be out right after this one. I'm just waiting for one more product to come in the mail. I've tested out 4 so far, and y'all, it's getting wild. I am so excited for it. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If you have any other questions or concerns after watching this video, just ask them in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get on into it. I wrote all the questions down in this cute little pastel-y pink notebook, so we're just gonna jump right on in. Number one, probably the question that I get the most. If you guys have been following me for a while, you're probably sick of hearing me answer this question, but in case you don't follow me, I'm gonna answer it right now. It is, why don't you show Landon's face on social media? I don't know how many more times I can possibly answer this question, but it is just not part of our plan. I personally love family accounts. Half of the Instagram accounts that I follow, half of the YouTube channels that I follow are all family based. I love watching that content. It is just not our plan for our son. But with that being said, call the newspapers, guys. He is going to be 1 in like 12 days. He's going to be 1 on the 30th of April, which is literally right around the corner, and I will be posting a photo of him for his first birthday. And spoiler alert, he's really cute, really cute. So I will be posting a picture for his first birthday. I will probably post pictures very sporadically for like big milestones or just like really fun events, but it is just not part of my plan to do daily photos of him. I hope everybody understands. I feel like 75% of the internet is super supportive, and the other 25% is very negative when they hear that I don't put my son on social media. It is not part of our plan to document his whole life. Nothing against that. Again, I watch so many YouTubers, I follow so many influencers, I follow so many Instagram pages that are family based. I absolutely love it. It's just not part of our personal plan for him. When he gets older and he says like, oh mommy, I want to be on Instagram, I'll put him on every single day. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna be posting pictures of like milestones or like really important events. Turning 1 is under that category, so stay tuned. We had to cancel his photo shoot, which breaks my heart. We had to postpone his first photo shoot because of everything going on in the world right now. So we ended up buying a teepee. We're doing a Where the Wild Things Are theme for his first birthday photo shoot and for his first birthday party, which we also had to postpone. Still don't have a date for that one. So we're going to attempt to be super crafty and do our own photo shoot. I don't know how it's gonna come out. It's not gonna come out nearly as good as if we went to the photographer we wanted to go to, but we're gonna be resourceful, we're gonna be crafty, and we're gonna get that photo. Question number 2, are you still breastfeeding? Long story short, I am not breastfeeding anymore. I ended our nursing journey right around the time Landon turned 11 months old. I did want to nurse for an entire year, but when he turned 11 months old, I got very sick. And with everything going on in the world right now, I just wanted to combat that sickness as fast as I possibly can. If you are a breastfeeding mother out there, or you are currently pregnant and you're thinking about breastfeeding, one thing to know: when you get sick, you are very limited on the medicine that you can take. There are only certain products that you can take while you are nursing, and I've gotten sick in the past with Landon, and that sickness lingered for like weeks, because everything that you can take, you have to be very careful to make sure it's not passing through your milk and passing to your child. So I just wanted to like get it over with right then and there. So around 11 months, I did stop nursing. To be honest with you, Landon could care less. We have been supplementing with formula since day 1. He is very familiar with the bottle. He loves it. So I'm not personally breastfeeding anymore, but I do have about 25 more bags of frozen breast milk in the freezer downstairs, so he still will get breast milk. Antilia's one will do 2 bottles of formula a day and 2 bottles of breast milk a day. I'm just not personally nursing anymore. Question number 3. This is going to be a long one, so make sure to check out the timestamp in the description if you're not interested in this answer. I know this is going to apply to everybody, but as of recently, this is the question that I have received the most. It is transition to teaching from a classroom to teaching from home. So if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I hope you enjoyed my content. I only do YouTube for fun. It is just a fun little business that I have on the side. My career is being a teacher. This is my 10th year teaching, and I teach 5th grade, regular ed, and special ed. So this has been the craziest year of my career. By far. I took an extended maternity leave, so I didn't go back to the classroom until February of 2020, and then March of 2020, I think it was like March 13th, I want to say, we were told that we have to leave our classroom potentially for the rest of the year and go teach from home. We found out an hour before our school closed down for, again, the foreseeable future. Nobody was prepared for this at all. We honestly had no clue what we were doing. We had never taught from home a single day in our lives. It has been the most overwhelming thing I have ever done. I do not want to use foul language, so I will just leave it with this. It sucks. It sucks so hard. It sucks for everybody. It sucks for the teachers. It sucks really hard for the students. It really sucks for the families. It is just not an ideal situation. With all that being said, we are trying very hard. I feel like teachers are superheroes, and I feel like we do everything for the students, and I feel like we are trying so hard to make this a somewhat pleasurable and somewhat enjoyable situation for the kids. Because think about this, whatever grade you are teaching, whether they are pre-K all the way up to seniors, this is hard for students. It's hard for everybody, but think about how hard this is for students. They don't get to see any of their friends. They don't get to have a teacher in front of them. It is just a lot. We are doing 2 different methods right now. I use Google Classroom, and then we use Zoom to do our conferences. If you're unfamiliar with Zoom, it's kind of like a conference call, FaceTime, where I can zoom in with my whole entire class of 30, or I can zoom in with one student and do like one-on-one small mentoring hours. Not to mention, I have almost a 1-year-old at home. I think that is what is the hardest for me. I think the teach from home part, like the actual instruction, I'm getting a pretty decent hang on. I have a lot to learn, but I'm actually not hating it. It's just doing 2 full-time jobs simultaneously. It's just not working. I'm doing the mothering job with a child who is very much dependent. He's not even 1-year-old yet. And I'm doing the teaching job with students who are very much dependent. They're not independent. They're very independent in a lot of aspects, but when it comes to teaching them, you have to actually teach them some of this stuff. I can give as many websites and apps and all of these different awesome integration, engaging activities, but at the end of the day, they do need to be taught. It's just so overwhelming. Like I said, nobody asked for this, but we're trying super hard to make it work. I'm gonna give you a little rundown of how our day looks. We go from 8 o'clock to 3:30, which is a pretty long day, but they do have a break in between. So 8 o'clock is when we have to sign on. We technically, the teachers, most of us are signing on around 7:20 just to prep some things and get everything situated and ready for the day. But the students have to log on at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we have 2 tasks for them. We give them a vocabulary task every single day. That takes about a half hour. And then they have to do iReady time, which is like a math or a reading program that they do online. 9 o'clock, we do a full class Zoom meeting, so we get to see everybody. It's really fun. That runs until about 9:30, and then they get a little bit of a brain break. Then I assign, I assign a writing task for them to do every day, whether it's poems, whatever content unit we're on right now, whether it's like a writing prompt, they do some writing and then they do some science. And then around 10 o'clock, I do mentoring hours. So that is my time to meet with a small group or one student and do one-on-one instruction, or just like sit with them and chit chat and get to say, hey, how's everything going? I know this is really hard. What can I do to help? Around 11 o'clock, they get their first break. 11 to 1 is their full break time, which is actually really nice. If you are a teacher watching this, this is like the one little silver lining. If you are a teacher, you know that your lunch is a half hour long, and you know that that half hour turns into 20 minutes by the time you drop students off, get your lunch all situated, eat, and pick your students back up. Now we're getting 2 hours. Those 2 hours are planning time, and it is lunchtime. It's a catch-22 because you could be doing all of your planning right there, but me personally, I have almost a 1-year-old at home, so I can't do that. So I do all my planning at night, which is proven to be very difficult. Not difficult, but very overwhelming. I'm not getting a lot of like downtime anymore. Usually when we put Landon down to sleep at 7:30, he's down for the night, and then I get some time with Adam, or I just get some me time. Now we're putting him down at 7:30, and then I'm doing like literally an hour and a half of planning a night, getting prepped for the next day. I digress. So usually during that time, I will take Landon on a nice little walk. It is very refreshing. We need the fresh air. It's good for the soul. It is important. So we go for a nice long walk, or we'll go for a run. Then when we come back, it is like crunch time. Crunch time. That is when I do all of my Zoom meetings. So 1 to 2, I have my 2 reading small groups. I meet with 2 different groups. 2 to 2:40, I have my math group where we're doing math instruction. Then we get a little bit of break where I try to do some grading. And then lastly at 3:15, we end our day with a closing Zoom meeting. I'm exhausted just saying that right now. And that is what I'm doing all day. Some days go really well, other days not so much. So it is all just a learning curve right now. We're trying very hard to make this fun. I just decided to implement a spirit week with the students, or spirit month, or spirit year, depending on how long this goes on for, where every single day we're gonna have a different task. One of the days we did last week was bring your pet to school day. So they got to show all their pets. And if they didn't have a pet, they brought a stuffed animal. One day was pajama day. I'm gonna do a little minute to win it game where I'm gonna ask all the students to bring a cookie and put it on their head. And then I'm gonna start a timer for our Zoom meeting. They have to try to get the cookie into their mouth. So we're trying to make it enjoyable for the students. We're just trying. We're trying to get these students motivated. The motivation is really low, which is completely understandable. We're trying to get all these kids to actually show up and do their work, which is also very low right now. But all in all, this is done for a reason. It's just a very small season in our life, and hopefully it will be over soon. Doing this is helping the whole world to stay healthy and to end this pandemic a lot sooner, hopefully, than it typically would have been going on for if we were still in class. So that's how Teach From Home is going right now. Not great, guys. Not terrible, but not great. That was such a long answer that my battery died. My camera died, so, you know, there's that. Let's go into question number 4 right now. This is a question that made me feel like really good. I got this question a bunch on my Instagram. I've been posting a bunch of like stories, not so much pictures because I'm so inactive on Instagram, but I've been posting a ton of stories, and a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me if I am losing weight and any insight on that. And the answer is yes, I have been losing a little bit of weight lately. It is completely unintentional. Very, very unintentional, but I will share my little dominoes effect. I feel like this is the epitome of a dominoes effect. Let's go back about 4 weeks ago. I followed this YouTuber named Allison Bickerstaff. I'm sure you guys know who she is. She's amazing. She's probably one of my favorite YouTubers. Obsessed with her. She does a ton of like healthy recipes. I also follow her on her Instagram. And one afternoon she put up an Instagram story where she shared her lunch. And her lunch was couscous, roasted asparagus, and Parmesan. And it looked so good. And I was like, oh, I have a variation of all of those items. Let's make that for lunch. So I made it, I tried it, and I was like, game changed. This is delicious. I made it for 3 lunches after that, and I was like, this is really, really good. I can hop onto this bandwagon right now because this is so tasty. The very next day is the day that we found out that we were leaving our classrooms for the foreseeable future, and we were going to be self-quarantining again for the foreseeable future. Me personally, if I eat really terrible and I'm kind of like stuck in one place, my anxiety gets heightened really, really bad. Anytime I eat junk food in general, it tastes delicious at the moment, but that is when my anxiety heightens. When I eat very healthy, I have a much clearer mindset. So I decided what a better time to just stick with eating healthy than right now and be stuck in a house for a very long time. And I know that when I eat healthy, I just have such a clearer mindset. So thank you to Allison for that lovely Instagram story. You started a little dominoes effect. I also follow my friend Kara, who actually lives in Rhode Island with me. She's my friend. We hang out a bunch. She has an Instagram page. I think it is Healthy Mamas Happy Kids. I will link both of them in the description below. She had mentioned that she does plant-based for breakfast and lunch, and then she introduces meat for dinner, and I kind of was like, I don't even eat that much meat in the first place, so why don't I do that as well? So between eating healthier, becoming a little bit more active now that it is getting nicer out, even though it is flipping snowing out today. It is snowing out today, but it has been much nicer. So I've been taking Landon on like hour-long walks every single day due to being home with remote learning. And then I have a little jogger, so I will take him in a jogger as well, and I'll go for a run. So between just being active, trying out new healthy recipes, eliminating meat for breakfast and lunch, and just trying to snack on healthier options, like if I'm hungry in the middle of the day, instead of going to get cookies, I'll go to get like an orange. Not saying I don't treat myself. I definitely still treat myself, but I'm just not treating myself 15 times a day like I used to. And now I'm just trying to live a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. Question number, I think this is question number 5. Talk about sponsorships. You've been doing a lot of them lately. I don't know. I don't think I will ever understand the analytics and the back end portion of social media when it comes to YouTube. I don't understand it. I don't have a management. I don't have like a team of people who do emails for me. I do everything on my own. I have been getting a lot more sponsorships lately, but it just doesn't correlate with where my channel is right now, because my channel is probably doing the worst it has ever done since I started YouTube. But I'm also getting more sponsorships than I've ever received in the past. So I don't personally have an answer for it. I'm very grateful for these opportunities. I personally only work with brands that I believe in, and I do have a lot of brands that reach out to me consistently, which makes me believe that those videos did well and they were able to get a lot of feedback from it, or a lot of people like use the clickable links, which I think is really important. Like I work with Function of Beauty a ton, I work with HelloFresh a ton, I work with a bunch of brands that I work with over and over again, but I've also been getting a ton of sponsorships from other companies that I never in my lifetime would have thought would reach out to work with me. And it's really heartwarming, but I just don't have an answer for that, because I feel like my channel right now is the lowest it's ever been, which is fine. This is just something that I do for fun. I would like it to grow a little bit more in the future, but right now it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting so many sponsorship offers right now as opposed to when my channel was booming. But yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful. I'm also very grateful for my viewers that aren't getting like annoyed with sponsorships. I know a lot of people will watch like sponsored content and then they automatically call that YouTuber or that influencer like a sellout, which I think is kind of, I don't know, it's really hard because you have to make your money. This is not my full-time job, but a lot of these content creators, that's their full-time job. And let me tell you, YouTube does not pay you a lot. Most of the people that make all the bulk of their money does come from sponsorships, tenfold. So yeah, I don't have a full answer for that. I have been doing a lot of sponsorships lately. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm very grateful for all of you for really supporting me in it, but I just don't understand it. I'm so excited about this question. I shouldn't be, because we have nothing in our future that relates to this as of quite yet. But the question is, how long until we move? I talk about this a ton on Instagram, how Adam and I are hoping to be in our dream forever home within the next 2 to 3 years. So again, we have nothing like coming up right away or anything in the super near future, but 2 years is actually a lot quicker than you think. Just think about how fast time goes by. We are hoping to be in our dream home and our forever home within the next 2 to 3 years. The problem with that, not the problem, it's actually, we're very proud of ourselves for this, but we both own houses. So I own the house that we live in right now, but Adam also owns his own home. When I met him, he already owned his own house, and I, being the person that I am, always had a dream of buying my own house. When I met Adam and we became serious, I did not want to give up on that dream. We weren't living with each other at the time. I think this was like a year into we started dating. I didn't want to give up on the dream that I had worked so hard for on buying my own house. It was just a huge goal of mine. So I did end up buying my own house. About maybe a year later, he moved in with me, and he has people that live in his house right now, and they basically are just paying the rent, the mortgage, whatever. I don't really know that side, the analytics of that. But yeah, the goal in like 2 to 3 years is that we sell both of our houses. We put anything that we have that we've like saved up for in the meantime, and we just put it towards our dream house. A goal of ours is to build. We've always wanted to build. but there's just like so many complications with that. So if we are able to find like the dream home in our dream neighborhood, we're gonna jump on it, but we have to sell 2 houses before we can buy our 1 house, which I'm not complaining about. I'm so proud of both of us. Like, we have accomplished a lot and we've worked so hard to be in this position, but we're hoping to be able to either sell one of the houses when the market is high and then just move into the other one for the meantime if we're planning on building, or just sell both of our houses and jump right on into a house that is already built that we are just like thriving for. My foot already fell asleep like 4 times, so I'm sorry if I keep like changing positions. I'm just trying to get comfortable. The next question, now that I'm back to teaching, I think that I got this question before the whole remote teaching started, distance teaching, whatever you call it. I think I got this question right around the time that my maternity leave was over and I was back in my classroom, but it is, now that I am back to teaching, am I going to film another teacher tries her students' favorite snacks video? The answer to that is yes. I was only back in my classroom for a month, but I learned a lot about my students' snacking habits in that 1 month that I was back in school. I made a list from like day 1 because I knew it was a video that I wanted to film. Hands down, my favorite videos to film here on my channel. So that will be coming out towards the end of April / early May. I already started buying some of the snacks when we see them. I also have a funny story about this. On those videos, those are definitely my most popular videos here on my channel, and along with popularity, you get a lot of people that try to claim things that they're not, and I try to tell myself like the people that are saying this are probably 10 or 11 or 7 or 8, so I don't comment on any of them. But if you check any of those videos, I'll put those whole entire playlist videos in the description if you want to check them out. The #1 comment that I get on those videos is, hey, that's my teacher. She was my teacher. I'm one of her students. And if you look at the amount of comments that I have on that video, I've only been teaching for 10 years and I have about 26 students per year. If you look at those videos and the amount of people that have commented on that, I probably have taught 34,000 students in the past. I just let it go because I know they're just young kids saying this and they're trying to like get into the hype of it, like, oh, this is a popular video and I'm gonna say this is my teacher, and then people will think that she's my teacher. Everybody's been a kid before. We know what it's like to be a kid. The funny thing with that is I was having a really rough day one day and I was in a certain kind of mood and I got that comment and I was like, I'm so sick of this. So I wrote back to that person and I was like very respectful about it. They were like, oh my God, that moment when you figure out that your teacher is a YouTuber and you're one of her students. So I very respectfully wrote back to that student and I said, I'm not your teacher, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And this person commented back, they were like, but Mrs. Blank, I'm your student in blank room from blank school. It was one of my students. Yep. So thank goodness it was happening in real time. I saw that comment as it was coming right through. I got the notification. I deleted it right away because of course I don't want that personal information out there. Most of those I just delete as it is because I get nervous that if it is one of my students one day, they're gonna say the school that I teach at, and for privacy reasons, I of course want to keep that nice and quiet. But that was definitely a foot in mouth situation where I was like, of all the comments, I picked the one comment from the student who was actually one of my students. So I talked to that student the next day and I was like, you can never put your personal information out there for privacy reasons for me, for privacy reasons for you, for privacy reasons for all the other students. She was absolutely understanding about it, but I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. Like, of all 30-something thousand of those comments that I got, the one I decide to respond to was actually one of my students. We're on to the back page. The next one is, when are we trying again? I don't know. I definitely want to have more than 1 kid. I think going into this, we were like, right when Landon turns 1, we're gonna start trying again. That is not the case anymore. I am just having so much fun being Landon's mom right now, and Adam is having so much fun being Landon's dad right now. And although we do want to have kids close together, I don't think either of us are in a position to want to have another kid anytime soon. I think when he turns like 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years, we'll start trying again. So they're about like 2.5 years apart. But right now, we have our hands full. He is such an easy baby. Landon is literally the easiest baby ever. He is my everything. I'm obsessed with him, but I'm just not ready to not be selfish anymore. I feel like I'm being very selfish with my time with Landon, and I'm personally not in a position yet to want to split my time up. I'm just really enjoying dedicating all of my time to Landon and our cute little family of 4, Jax included. Jax is our 90-pound pit bull, and he is Landon's best friend. Along with that question, I also got, will you do a surprise gender again? If you guys are new here, when we had Landon, we did a surprise gender. We didn't find out the gender until he was born. It is and will remain the best surprise I've ever had in my entire life. You will just, oh my goodness, I will never get another feeling like that again until we have another baby. There are just so few surprises left in life, and that was the most beautiful surprise in the world, in my personal opinion, for me. So when we do have another baby, I think we will do another surprise gender. Adam was not on board at first when we were having Landon. He really wanted to find out the gender, and then he was like, I know it means a lot to you, so we will just we just won't find out. And now we actually talked about it the other day, and somebody had asked, and he was like, oh, we won't find out the gender again. I was like, what? And he was like, oh, it was really nice. He was like, it was as blissful as you made it seem. Those are my words, not his, but he said some sort of variation of those words. So he's on board, I'm on board. When we do have another baby, we're not gonna find out the gender. If we have another baby, God willing. I hate saying when, because you never know what's gonna happen. But if and when we're blessed and fortunate enough and God is willing to give us another baby in the future, we will not find out the gender. This next one threw me for a curveball. The question is super simple. The question is, how old are you and Adam? I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. I don't even know what month it is anymore. I had to think so hard about this question, and I'm pretty sure I'm 32 years old. Adam, how old are you? 34?
Yeah.
He's 34 years old. And how long have we been together? What year did we start dating? 2014?
Yep.
2014. So we've been together since 2014. I thought about this question for a while, and I was like, I should probably know this information, but there's a lot going on right now. So I'm 32, I think. Adam is 34, and we have been together since 2014, which means we've been together for 6 years. Math, guys. Next question is just as much a question for me as it is for all of you. The question is, what are you binging on TV and on Netflix? We don't watch a lot of TV, but since being self-quarantined, we have already made it through probably like 5 full series, which is pretty wild. So we just finished Tiger King, which I think the whole world did. Finished watching that. It was a wild experience, no pun intended. My eyes have been opened that there are people that actually exist like that in the world. I am awoken. So we just finished watching that. We just finished the last episode of Schitt's Creek, which makes me so sad. It's one of my favorite shows. We're always watching The Office or Friends on repeat. We've probably watched that series from start to finish minimum of 25 times, again, from start to finish. We love any of the baking championships. We are watching the spring one right now, but our favorite one is Kids Baking Championship. We just finished watching the entire season and series, because there's only one season of Lock and Key, which is so good. I really enjoy the show a lot, and we can't wait for the next season. And currently, we just started watching Ozark, which I'm on the fence with. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not my cup of tea, but I feel like every episode that I watch, I'm getting more and more invested into it, and I feel like it's going to be a show that's like one of my top favorite shows by the end of it. But right now, I'm kind of on the fence. So if you have any suggestions of TV shows or Netflix shows, Prime shows, what is it, HBO Go shows, there's Hulu shows, put them in the description, because we got all the time in the world right now to watch a lot of TV. 3 questions left. This next question kind of piggybacks off of the question that I just answered. The question is traditions that we want to start with Landon. So at first, I almost didn't answer this question because it is just such a broad question where I feel like I had a million answers. I want to start a million traditions with Landon. I couldn't even think of one. And then that night, Adam and I were watching Kids Baking Champion, which is our favorite baking champion of any of the baking championships out there. We were watching it and I was like, you know what would be really, really fun? If when Landon gets old enough, we can have a family night every Monday, because it comes out on Monday, sit down, watch kids baking championship, and then at one time or at some point during that week, we try to recreate the baked good that the kids make. So I'm really excited for that. We're buying him a learning tower. If you're unfamiliar with those, it's like a little standing tower where toddlers can stand in so they're close to the table, and then if you're making food or whatever you're doing, they can participate in it. So hopefully when he starts standing and when he can start eating like all of those sugary products and those sugary treats, we can start that little tradition. I'm so excited about that. So thank you so much to this person who asked that question, because that was not even in my mind, and I was thinking about it, and we were watching that show and I was like, light bulb, this is a huge tradition that I want to start with him. I love baking, Adam loves cooking, and I know we want to do like a lot of traditions in the kitchen with him. BRB, I have to go get something to answer this next question. Okay, the next to last question, the second to last question is, why don't you wear your engagement ring or your wedding ring anymore? So if you guys have noticed in all my videos, I don't wear my wedding ring or my engagement ring anymore. There's a very simple answer for that. It is that it just does not fit anymore. I don't know what is going on. My fingers like changed during pregnancy, and we have been trying it on pretty much every single month. Adam will go into our safe and he'll take it out and I will try it on, and it just does not fit. And I don't feel like my fingers are super swollen anymore. My fingers swelled a ton when I was pregnant, but now I feel like they're back to their regular size and it just does not fit. We're getting closer and closer every single month. We said once Landon turns a year old, if it still doesn't fit, we're just gonna bring it back to the jeweler and see if they can resize it. But I don't know, I really wanna wear my wedding ring again. In the meantime, I've just been buying like a ton of, I don't wanna call these like costume jewelry rings. This one is from Moon Magic. I don't even have it on today, but it's just really, really pretty. And I've just been buying like a ton of different like costumey jewelry type rings to kind of like hold me over until my actual ring fits. And it's a lot of fun. It's not as nice as my actual ring, but it's kind of like a filler for now. So once Landon turns 1 year old, we're gonna go get our rings fitted. Well, my ring fit because it doesn't fit anymore. So hopefully I can wear it again. But in the meantime, I'm just wearing some, these aren't costume jewelry, but just like, you know, not actual diamond rings. Okay, we've made it to the last question. Give yourselves a round of applause if you're still here, because you're the real MVP. I'm pretty sure 75% of the people watching this video have left already, but if you made it through the whole thing, give yourself a pat on the back. You are the real MVP. The last question is still kind of like a trigger question for me. I saved this one for last. It is the Disney PR trip. What happened? So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I had mentioned that Disney reached out to me. Flipping Walt Disney World reached out to me. If you would have told me this like 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. And the fact that like Walt Disney World, my favorite place on this entire planet, reached out to do a partnership with me, it blows my mind. I'm so grateful. It is so surreal. But anyways, they had reached out to do a land and sea trip with me. So basically they were gonna send me, and I could take, I think it was 2 or 3 other people on a land and sea trip, which basically means they would have sent me to Walt Disney World. We would have spent like 4 days there, and then we would have went on a cruise for like 4 or 5 days. Now, I have gone on some PR trips with Disney in the past, and they are incredible. Their PR team, they know what is up. They are so good at their job. They just make you feel like actual princesses or princes. It is a lovely experience. Why did I say no to this trip? Because I'm an idiot, pretty much. So this is like the 3rd or the 4th time that they reached out to me, and this is one of the times that I had to say no. I'm very fortunate to have been able to go on some of those PR trips in the past, and I met some incredible friends on those trips that I'm still in contact with now. But this specific trip, they reached out to me when I had just had Landon and he was 2 months old. I think he was like 2 months old, or he was like 1.5 or 3 months, somewhere in that time frame. Now, the trip was going on in February, and my maternity leave was ending in February. So I was gonna be back in work the week that it was starting, which is not even a big deal because I personally could have just taken an extended leave and taken 1 more month off. That was completely on me. I could have taken up to an entire year. So I went back like a month and a half or 2 months before my full year. So I could have taken more time off, but the reality of it is I was going through some pretty tough postpartum stuff after I had Landon. I was on like a very wild roller coaster of emotion, and when they had reached out to me, I was just not in the best place spiritually and emotionally and like mentally, even physically. It was really tough. Postpartum is really, really hard. I'm very, very blessed to say that I didn't have postpartum depression, but I definitely had those baby blues, and it would just be like very sporadic. Like I'd be super happy one day and then I'd be like really sad the next day, and I'd be super energized the next day and be like really tired the next day and just feel like I didn't want to do anything. I'm very, very lucky that I have such a good support system, and I did go back to therapy for a couple of months after I had Landon just to like get myself back into a position where I felt happy and I felt like in control of my feelings, which I'm so blessed for therapists. They are amazing. I feel better now than I ever have in my entire life. But when Disney had reached out to me, I was just in one of those weird little roller coaster of emotion mind frames, and I decided not to even answer them back, which is so out of character for me, so out of character to me. I felt like, this is so weird, I felt like if I didn't answer them back, it wouldn't be real. So if I didn't answer them back, it's like they didn't even invite me in the first place. It's not a big deal. But if I answer them back and I say no, then maybe they won't invite me again for the future. I don't know what was going on through my mind. I pretty much didn't reach out back to them until January, and the trip was a month or a month and a half away. And I emailed I think she's like the PR coordinate that was taking care of the whole trip, and I sent her this whole heartfelt message saying how sorry I was for not even responding. It was very out of character for me. It was very unprofessional. I feel embarrassed by it. And I told her the whole situation about my postpartum baby blues. They wrote back literally within an hour with a paragraph of just the kindest, sweetest words ever, saying that absolutely have to put yourself first. They completely understand. I am not taking off the list for future events. I think that was what kind of like shocked me the most. I think I was the most nervous that like I didn't even answer them back because of the weird place that I was in my mind, and now they're gonna take me off the list because they're gonna think that was rude of me and they're never gonna invite me ever again. When I tell you she emailed me back within an hour with the sweetest message ever, and I think this is why I love Disney so much. Theme park aside, it is just the relationships that you form with people. They really and truly, how do I want to word this? They just really and truly promote positivity. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. She made me feel so much better. And she basically ended with, your opportunity with us is not over. We completely understand, and we're gonna find something that matches. Like when we find something that matches with your brand or with your lifestyle in the future, we'll absolutely reach out again. So there you go. It was completely my fault. I'm very embarrassed by it. It's something that I regret every single day. The opportunity, that is an opportunity that people would like scream for, and I had it and I just let it fly right by. But everything happens for a reason. I just wasn't in the place at the time to even consider it. Now I am, and I hope they reach out to me soon. I hope this whole pandemic is over soon so that we can do those really cool trips again. And you know what, if it happens again in the future, it's really, really awesome, and I'll be so honored. And if it doesn't, I'm just really honored that they even reached out in the first place, and I even was able to do those PR trips in the past. This is gonna be a very long video. I just checked some of the timestamps, and I might have to turn this into like a two-parter, or I might just make it one really long video and have people watch it as their leisure if they want to watch the whole thing, or if they want to watch it in like little sections. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being incredible. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being just a beautiful little shining light in my life. And thank you for helping to make my YouTube dreams come true. I, from the bottom of my heart, over everything, hope that everyone is well and safe and healthy right now. It's a crazy time in the world, and I'm just hoping that everybody is doing well mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you are not, just know that you are not alone. I'm gonna try to do a very big prayer very soon for everybody in the world that is going through a tough time with this whole coronavirus pandemic. So please just know that you are not alone. Try to do something every single day that sparks joy, whether it's just like a 5-minute dance off. Whatever makes you happy, reading a book, just try to find like at least 5 minutes a day to do something that is meaningful to you. I love you guys and I'm thinking of you always. Thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. I hope you're having a beautiful day and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Bye guys.